Welcome back to the channel, my YouTube familiars. It has been a while since I posted something. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about, I want to provide some form of career guidance, especially if you are interested in taking up a academic position at some stage. Because if you may recall, I mentioned to you sometime back that this is the only space I know. I have never been to any other space. I only know the academic space. And I can confidently attest to how things are actually done in this space because this is the only space I know. Yeah so I want to start off just to give you a background as to how academic rankings work. You would actually, the ladder works as follows. You would start off at the tutor level. So tutor level, I mean, that's probably the lowest, and then you would move up to the junior lecturer level, and then there is the lecturer level, then there is the senior lecturer level. That's at least here in Namibia now. And then you have got the associate professor level, then a full professor level. So in South Africa, I know there are senior professors and all that. Yeah, but in Namibia, that's the ladder. I mean, that's how it looks. And each have got requirements. So let's start off with the tutor. You can start tutoring even from third year. When you are doing your third year in honors, I mean, you can be a tutor. Junior lecturer also with honors in some instances, and lecturer mainly they require a master's. And in order for you to become a senior lecturer, you need to have a PhD, associate professor, PhD, plus a number of other requirements that you need to fulfill. And then same, I mean, for the full professorship. So, why I felt compelled to share this with you is often, we have got the view that if you have a certain qualification, you can just enter a particular, job and so on. So the job market is quite, you know, it's quite competitive, and you need to take that into consideration as you actually think of an academic space. But what actually would put you above the rest is some of the requirements. You need to tick most of the boxes. So if you look at whenever there are vacancies, there is always that term, or I mean, you'd see or it reads as follows: a B degree in, let's say, linguistics or any related, or I mean, it can say a M degree in linguistics or English and linguistics, or or M degree in communication, or any related degree. So yeah, and then what actually happens, and then it may actually say for the B degree one, where they require a B degree, they may say a M degree would be an advantage. Now, let me just clarify some of the things there. What that would mean, what that means. In some instances, there is a tie. You'd see there is a criterion. Yeah, so there is a criterion that is being used, and when there is a tie, then if everything else is the same and the only difference is the degree, then I mean the one with the M or the PhD may actually may be the successful candidate. But then if some other things are not, or most of the boxes are not ticked, then the M or whatever doesn't really matter. So what I'm trying to say is, you know, if you want to succeed in academic space, then you need to make sure, once you obtain your master's degree, it's from there. This is where the growth actually comes from. So once you obtain your master's degree, make sure that you start with publications. That's key. Students underestimate. We often, and I've used this word before, where I said in academic setting, if you don't publish, you will perish. That's true. So what I would actually advise you is to start publications. You need to publish. Make sure you publish with journals, reputable journals. So sometimes people think publications with newspapers is fine. No, if I can just give you an idea, that normally accounts to 0.5 points, in the if you want to be promoted, so 0.5, and then there's also a cap. It's limited to 5 points or something like that. So even if you have 100 newspaper articles, you would end up having only 5 points, whereas someone who is publishing, in reputable journals would get 3 points. So with the 3 points now, if you are the main author, you would get 3 points, for example. Now with and then there are no caps. So you can have, if you have 20 publications, that means you have got 60 points, that can actually assist you in your promotion. Yeah, so that's how it works. So the first thing is you have got your master's degree, but now you need to think of that publication. And then there's also this question that is often being asked, but prof, I have got a related degree, why was I not considered? You see, when it comes to a related degree, it is when, in the absence of the actual degree that a institution may be looking for, you would actually be considered. So in our case, we are the Department of Communication and Languages, and often we look for candidates in communication. And then we say, in the absence of a candidate in communication, we may consider journalists. The journalism graduates and so on. So. Journalism and media graduates, and in the absence of communication, we would consider that. But if we have got a communication, candidate with a communication degree, there's no way that we can consider you. So I hope that is clear. So that's also key. That's also key that you need to understand. It's not only the degree, but in the absence of what we were looking for, we may actually think of, employing you. So that's one area that needs clarification, in this academic space. And I'm giving this for free, my YouTube familiar. And for those of you who are following the channel, and by the way, the channel is growing. It's growing. I'm the happiest. With the subscribers now. That's why I am sharing this information, so that you are the first to actually, view it, and the first to learn something from it. Yeah. So that's the first issue. So the issue is with the related degrees. You can have a related degree, but if people are looking for a PhD in mathematics or whatsoever, and then you come with something similar to mathematics, in the absence of that, they may consider you. So that needs to be clear. So I hope it is clear, my YouTube familiar. And then the next thing is that of so some of these positions would say, the requirement, let's say for the junior lecturer may be honors, and then masters would be an advantage. Then you must know what we normally do is, whoever has got an honors degree along with the masters, they are actually deemed as being qualified. They can be shortlisted and so on. So they are deemed to be qualified. Yeah, because all of them actually qualify to be to take up that particular position. But then we would move into other aspects, the number of years in the teaching, the experience that you have got, and all those kind of things. So why I'm actually putting emphasis on that one, is that sometimes, because we have got a master's and this position requires honors, we think that we are the only ones. We should be given the job, right away. No, it doesn't work that way, because the minimum requirement is a honors degree. So your master's could be an advantage, as I mentioned earlier, when you are actually, when there is a deadlock, when we are deadlocked as to whom to take, we are not so sure, because you have scored the same in everything else. So this is when this could actually count. But other than that, no, both of you are qualified. So that needs to be clear. So what we would normally look at is, for example, for let's say a lecturer position, we would say, okay, master's degree and then a PhD would be an advantage. But then, um, as I mentioned, those with PhD and masters are actually qualified. They can be shortlisted. So the next thing we would look at is the publication record. Do you have a sound publication record? Is there anything? And what I have discovered, lately, is that sometimes we have got candidates with PhDs without any publication. That is a problem. that is a problem. So make sure that, I mean, from your masters, as I said, make sure that you publish. That's quite key. That's quite key. So this advice I'm giving from the bottom of my heart, my YouTube familiar. So please, I hope you are learning something. Yeah. So, and then, I mean, as I said, publication. And then we also look at supervision record. If you have got a master's, then you can already supervise at honors level. So you can supervise students. So do you have any form of supervision experience? Because at the university, that's what we do. We do teaching and learning. We do research and publication and community engagement, and yeah. So, and then, of course, governance, leadership, and so on. But for junior positions like lecturer, I mean, we are not so keen on the leadership and the governance aspects. What we are interested in is, do you understand this space, the academic space? So, as I said, publications. Do you have any publications? Next thing is, I mean, supervision record. I mean, do you have any form of supervision? At honors level. I mean, did you ever supervise students at honors level? If you have got a PhD, did you supervise at masters or, let's say, honors level? I mean, can you prove to us that you have done that? And in most instances, it's zero. No supervision experience whatsoever. No. At both masters and honors levels, while you have got a PhD. So that is a problem. So you need to work on that, if you are in this space. Otherwise, you won't be considered. You would apply for positions, and then each time you would get that a response that you were not successful. You were not even shortlisted. And then you would ask, but I mean, I've got a PhD alone is not enough. It's not sufficient. So if you have got a PhD and then you have got the supervision record, you have got publication record, then that actually puts you in a very advantageous position. So that's what you need to strive for. So please look into that. I mean, academics. Otherwise, you would always be disadvantaged. And then the other thing also, the teaching experience at tertiary institution. Sometimes we get applications from many teachers, with a master's or PhD, and then they are currently teaching even at high school, at primary schools, and so on, and so on. That's different from university teaching. So we would be interested in this space. I mean, in the absence of someone who has been teaching at a university, we may consider you. I'm not saying don't ever apply. You can apply, but you must already know, as you are applying, if there are people who have been teaching at a university, then my chances are actually being reduced a little. Even though I might be considered, if all other aspects are promising, like publication record, you have supervised students somehow, and so on, then you may be, I mean, in the running for sure. But then, if you don't have that, if you know that you don't have any tertiary education, I mean, teaching experience, then we may not consider you. So what I normally advise, my mentees is that, let's start off with your masters. If we can publish that one, I can assist you, I can guide you, but start there. The painful part is when I have actually advised students to do that, they actually ran away, they kept quiet, and then when there are opportunities at NAS, they would apply. And I would always tell them, you don't have any publication, so it's zero. So there's no way we can consider you, because everybody with a MA degree would be eligible or qualified for a lecturer position. So now we need to look at the other aspect, and this is where you are lacking. So that's what you need to actually work on. Yeah, but my advice normally is that if you know academics somewhere, you can always engage them, and so that you can co-supervise with them, and so on and so on, so that you can always do. But that's the honest advice that I've got for you. I think I've already explained how you move up the ranks, but this is, I mean, how you need to understand the university setup. You must know that the competition is tough, and the only way that, I mean, you can put yourself aside from the rest is through publications and then supervision experience. So you need to ask those questions, at various HODs at UNAM, NAST, IUM. Are there any supervision, co-supervision, opportunities? I've got a PhD in this, that. So please, if there are opportunities, if you need people to supervise, please, I can start a co-supervision, and then later on, if you are satisfied with my work, I can take on, students on my own. Yeah. So that's, what you need to do. I hope. My YouTube familiar, you have enjoyed this particular video where I have explained, how the university setup works, especially here in Namibia. As an HOD in a department at a tertiary institution here in the country, I think I am well placed to give such advice to you. So thank you very much, my YouTube familiar, and thank you for watching these videos. I hope you are subscribing. I hope you are liking. There are more. There are more that I am going to share. So the next that I'm going to share is definitely, going to be on football. So this one was purely for the academics. So I hope the academics would enjoy this. Thank you very much, my YouTube familiar. Until next time. Bye bye.